Is there anything more magical than Christmas Day? Gathering around the table with family for a home cooked meal, exchanging gifts with loved ones, and that awkward moment when a relative brings up politics and all stuffing hits the fan. Yeah, been there, got the t shirt. The holidays may be called the most wonderful time of the year, but between family drama, travel delays, and a to do list longer than Santa's naughty list, Christmas can also be a season of stress. Studies show the average person spends 13 hours, 13, prepping for Christmas Day. That's longer than a flight from where I live in California to Australia, where it's summer, by the way. But after all that preparation, it takes less than 13 seconds for stress to send our cortisol soaring. And that's bad news for our hormones. That's why in today's episode, we're going to tackle 6 common holiday stressors as well as tools to help us stay calm, cool, and collected without having to book a solo trip to the Bahamas. If you're one burnt pie or snarky comment away from having a complete hormonal meltdown for the holidays, this episode is for you. Welcome to Are You There Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this. Hey, beautiful, welcome back to the show. So before we jump in today's episode, I just want to check to see if you've taken my free hormone assessment. I know it's the holidays, you're busy, and that's just what today's episode is all about, right? Let's face it, Christmas isn't exactly the time of year when we think health. Am I right? But next year is going to be here faster than we know. And all of your New Year's resolutions and vision boards and good intentions aren't going to actually be able to deliver results unless you know exactly what's going on with your hormones and why. So if you're dealing with symptoms like unexplained mood swings, fatigue, irritability, sugar cravings, joint pain, period changing, difficulty sleeping, and you suspect you might have a hormonal imbalance, then I want you to hit the pause button right now and head on over to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz. This quiz uses something called symptom hormone profiling to match your symptoms with 9 of the most common hormonal imbalances in women from perimenopause through postmenopause. It's quick, it's easy, it's accurate. In fact, it can actually be more accurate than a blood test, especially when it comes to identifying the type and severity of your hormone imbalance. And here's another perk. You don't have to wait 2 weeks for a lab to call you back with your results, because I personally go through each and every single assessment and send you an individual email with feedback so you can hit the new year running. So go to bit.ly/take my hormone quiz or click the link in today's show notes and then meet me back here for the rest of today's show. Okay, so today we are finishing up my 6-week series about how to enjoy the holidays without sabotaging your hormones or gaining weight. Now, if you've missed any of the last 5 weeks episodes of this series, I'm going to link them in today's show notes. But in today's episode, we're going to be rounding things up by diving specifically into holiday stress. Stress doesn't care that it's Christmas. It shows up anyway. And according to a recent study, more than 62% of people agree that the holidays are somewhat to very stressful. And stress, as we know, is bad news for our health, especially our hormones. Whether we're dealing with a difficult family member or a delayed flight that leaves us stranded, stressful situations trigger our body's fight or flight response. Hello, cortisol. And that can set off a chain of negative effects in our body, including sugar cravings, sleep disturbances, and fat storage, especially in our stomach, not to mention systemic inflammation. Plus, it can also throw off our delicate balance of estrogen to progesterone. For a complete breakdown of the symptoms and side effects of a cortisol or estrogen imbalance, be sure to check out episodes 14 and 17 of the podcast, which I'll also link in today's show notes. In short, stress is like handing your hormones a lump of coal. Wah, wah. But we can prevent stress from ruining our day if we learn how to get out in front of it. So today, I am giving you a tactical toolkit for surviving all the holiday chaos. Beginning with stressful scenario number 1, not getting support for holiday prep. Let me set the scene. You're home doing everything, cooking, cleaning, wrapping gifts, and nobody is stepping up to help. How does this affect our hormones? Well, feeling unsupported increases our feelings of overwhelm, and that can lead to adrenaline and cortisol spikes. And that chemical reaction can eventually lead to feelings of resentment, emotional eating, aka sugar cravings, as well as fatigue. Have you ever just wanted to crawl into your bed and take a nap in the middle of a family gathering? That's stress. So, how can we prevent this holiday stressor from completely ruining our Christmas? One word: delegate. Here's the thing. I have spent way too many Christmases over the years waiting for my family to volunteer to help out. We cannot wait for other people to offer to help us, especially family members. To them, you're super mom or super wife who can do all the things. And besides, they know you never like how they do things anyway. First off, you gotta let that whole perfectionist thing go if you want people to step up. Remember, done is good enough. Secondly, you have to ask for specific help. For example, Maddie, can you set the table? Jack, please take out the trash. Studies show that people actually respond better when given clear tasks. The next thing I want you to do is identify 1 to 2 things you can let go of completely. Newsflash, nobody cares if your holiday napkins match or you're using paper plates instead of china. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is good enough is good enough. Don't make your holiday meal or decorations into a Pinterest competition. Remember, stress is contagious. So if your family sees you letting stuff go, they'll relax more too. which leads to less fighting and more cooperating to get things done before your guests arrive. That brings us to stressful scenario number 2, running out of time to get everything done. Let me set the scene. Your guests are supposed to arrive in less than an hour, and you still need to take a shower and get ready, and you're staring at a to-do list longer than Santa's. How does this affect our hormones? Well, rushing increases cortisol and adrenaline, and that leads us to feeling frazzled, scattered, and actually less productive. So how can we prevent this holiday stressor from ruining our Christmas? One of my favorite tools is called the 3-item rule. What you're going to do is you're going to choose the top 3 most important, have to get done things on your list. And you're just going to focus on those, just those 3 things. Everything else on your list is gravy. Then before diving in, I want you to take 5 minutes and step away. I know the clock is ticking. I get it. And while stepping away may seem counterproductive, research shows that when we take a short break or slow down, we actually get more done. Here's a bonus tip. If you start to panic again as time starts to run out, turn up the Christmas music and hum. I know, it sounds crazy, but I actually did this last night after a family discussion we were having about dinner started to turn ugly. Humming actually stimulates the vagus nerve, and that calms down our nervous system. I gotta say, it actually worked. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is we don't need to do everything at once. Focusing on one thing at a time will get you further than trying to multitask. Think, I have control over what I choose to focus on. By simplifying your to-do list, you're prioritizing what truly matters. Stressful scenario number 3, seeing a difficult relative you haven't seen in a while. Let me set the scene. You're ready to go. The house looks fantastic. It smells of baked goods and honey-baked ham. All the kids look great. Even the dogs are like behaved. And you start to sweat and your heart starts to beat because you know they're on their way. That one difficult family member that you just know is going to walk into your house and say something rude or judgmental. How does that affect our hormones? Well, negative interactions actually spike our cortisol, and that kicks in our fight or flight response. And again, that makes us feel anxious, irritable, and drained. But we can head cortisol spikes off at the pass with these 2 tools. The first is called pause and breathe. Now, I know you all know how to breathe, but bear with me for a minute here. Here's how it works. Your cousin, your aunt, your sister, your mother-in-law, your fill in the blank here, says something that really frosts your Christmas cookies. But before you go to respond, pause and take 3 slow, deep breaths. Now I want you to breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale for 4 counts. It's actually called something called box breathing. Breathing in this way actually lowers your cortisol and calms your nervous system, as well as buys you some time to respond calmly or maybe not at all. The second tool you can try is called the observer, and here's how it works. Picture yourself like an invisible third party in the room, detached but observant. Observe your relative's behavior. Realizing what they say or how they act really isn't about you, it's about them. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is I can't control anyone else's words. I can only control my reaction. So pass the potatoes, please. Stressful scenario number 4. The holiday meal is ruined. Let me set the scene. You burnt the honey-baked ham, or someone is complaining about the food. Too much salt, not enough salt, etc., etc., etc. How does this affect your hormones? Well, feeling like we failed triggers cortisol and adrenaline spikes, and it also crashes our dopamine. That's our reward hormone. While we may not be able to save the holiday meal, burnt is, well, burnt, we can learn to lighten up and let it go with a tool I call flipping the script. This tool uses the healing power of laughter to reset our hormones. Now, not only does laughter lower our cortisol, but it also releases dopamine, our reward hormone, as well as endorphins, our feel-good hormones. Okay, so let's just say you burnt the ham or the brisket or whatever. Instead of flipping out, flip the script by making a joke and redirecting the conversation. Say something like, well, dinner's toast, but thankfully Uber Eats delivers on Christmas. P.S. They do. So let's vote, Chinese takeout or pizza? Or remember that difficult relative? Let's just say she's at it again, only this time she's complaining about the food. Instead of apologizing or saying something passive-aggressive, let it go. Acknowledge the meat is a little dry, and then use humor to lighten the mood. Say something like, well, thankfully, we've got a lot of great wine to wash it down. By using humor, we can actually turn a holiday fail into a funny family memory, something everyone can laugh about next year. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is focus on connection, not perfection. Let me say that again. Focus on connection, not perfection. Think the people at my table matter more than what's on their plate. Which brings us to stressful scenario number 6, giving a gift to a picky relative. Let me set the scene. It's your annual holiday gift exchange, and you drew the name of a family member who is notoriously difficult to shop for. Lucky you. Now it's time for them to open your gift that you put a lot of time and thought into. But now you're dreading their forced smile. How does that affect your hormones? The anticipation of rejection actually spikes our cortisol, triggering anxiety, rapid heartbeats, and feelings of inadequacy. But we can squash anticipatory stress with a tool grounded in cognitive reframing called Shift the Spotlight. It works like this. Instead of focusing on someone's reaction to our gift, we can shift the focus to the act of giving. Giving is an expression of kindness, not perfection. Acts of giving actually release oxytocin, the love hormone, which can counteract stress and build a sense of connection. We can't control other people's feelings. We can only control our thoughtfulness. So release any expectations of control and just be present in the act of giving. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is the joy truly is in giving, not in earning approval. Think, I'm giving from my heart, and what happens next isn't my responsibility. And lastly, stress scenario number 6. You're stuck in traffic or your flight is delayed. So this one's pretty obvious. You're on your way to somebody else's house for the holidays and you're stuck in traffic, or you're stranded at the airport because your flight has been delayed or, heaven forbid, canceled, and you are on your last nerve. Feeling stuck causes a spike in our cortisol, you guessed it, and that can trigger frustration, anxiety, as well as feelings of helplessness. Now, you may not be able to control traffic, but you can turn delays into detours, which is our tool for this scenario. By turning your focus away from what you may be missing out on and towards appreciating the moment. So focus on what you can do during that moment instead. For example, if you're stuck on the freeway in holiday traffic, you can use that time to connect with your family. Sing carpool Christmas karaoke, or share stories about the worst Christmas gift you ever got, or your favorite gift, or your funniest gift, or play something like Two Truths and a Lie, the Christmas edition. Stuck at the airport? First, I want you to make sure you move your body. Why? Because this actually releases endorphins. So take a walk around the terminal or do some simple stretches. Then you can do something fun with the kids to prevent them from getting restless, like an airport scavenger hunt or shopping for souvenirs where everybody gets a certain budget and goes around and gets the most unusual things that they can buy for $10. Or if you're flying solo, ask what amenities the airport offers. Many airports have salons or even spas. So instead of sitting at your gate for hours, go get your nails done or get a relaxing massage. That's going to help you forget you're stuck in the first place. The critical mindset shift we need to make here is the journey matters as much as the destination. Think, delays might steal my time, but they don't have to steal my joy. So there you go. 6 tools to deal with the stress of the holidays and end of year chaos. To recap, when you're feeling overwhelmed with holiday preparations, try the 3-item rule. When you aren't getting much or any support from family members, delegate. When you're anticipating seeing a difficult relative, pause and breathe, or box breathing. When your holiday meal is, toast, flip the script. When you're dealing with a picky person on your holiday gift list, shift the spotlight. Or when you're stuck in traffic or dealing with a flight delay, turn delays into detours. Remember, stress doesn't have to steal our Christmas. By staying calm, we can learn to regulate our nervous system and keep our hormones in check. And that is the best gift we can give ourselves this holiday season. Join me next week for 2024 Wrapped on AYTM, where I will be sharing your favorite episodes and topics this year, plus what I'll be focusing more on in 2025. Until next time, sending you out into the world with health, happiness, and less meltdowns than your holiday candles. Hey friend, can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the number one way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.